Oh, hey, so today we are doing what is called simplifying higher order radicals, which you've actually already done a little bit. It just hasn't been the main focus. So the same notes you've seen a few times are there at the top, but basically what this means is our index number right here, our index on our radical is not going to just be a 2. So we're going to do things like the 5th root of 72 or the 8th root of 6 to the 5th times, I don't know, a to the 4th, blah, 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 blah. All we know is that that index is going to be bigger than 2 on all of the problems today, which, again, you've already done. You've practiced this. I'm going to point out a couple shortcuts today that might help this speed up a little bit for some of you when we get down to numbers 3 and 4. So first of all, number 1, the cube root of 54. It wants us to simplify. So remember, we just take the 54 and we are going to factor that down. So that is 2 times 27, which is 3 times 9, which is 3 times 3. So I've got a 2, a 3, a 3, and a 3. So when I rewrite this, I've got the cube root of 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now, this 3 out here, my index tells me I'm looking for groups of 3. And I've got one group right there. And what I get to do is pull that group out and replace it with 1 3. So I get a 3 in front. I still have my cube root 3. That doesn't go anywhere. And I've got a 2 left over on the inside. So my answer becomes 3 cube roots of 2. And that's it. That would be it for that problem. Number 2, 3 times the 4th root of 48. I'm going to ignore that 3 in front for just a minute. And I'm going to take 48 and I'm going to factor that. So 2 and 24. 2 and, not 2 and 8, 3 and 8. Good math, Mr. Reed. 2 and 4. 2 and 2, right? 2, 3, 2, 2, 2. So when I rewrite this, I get 3 4th roots of, I've got 4 2s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 3. And I'm looking for groups of 4. This tells me I'm looking for groups of 4. So I've got 4 2s right here. Those are going to pull out, and they're going to turn into 1 2. So I get a 2 out there, but I already have this 3. Don't forget that that 3's out there. And then I've got the 4th root, and I'm left over with a 3 inside is all. So my answer becomes 6 4th roots of 3. Again, that is something you have already done. We actually practiced that a couple homeworks ago. But here's where we want to maybe focus on some things that can help speed this up a little bit. Number 3, we've got the 5th root of x to the 25th, y to the 17th, and z to the 3rd. Now, you are more than welcome to rewrite this as the 5th root, and you can write x 25 times if you really want to. I'm going to show you a shorter way. You don't have to do it this way, but I think it's something most of you can pick up on, okay? Basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to take those 25 x's and I'm going to put them into groups of 5, right? Well, that sounds a lot like dividing by 5. So if I take the number 25 and I divide it by 5, I get a nice clean number 5. Well, that's how many groups of x's I'm going to pull out. So my answer down here, my answer is going to have 5 groups of x's that get to come out of the root. So I'm going to have 5 groups of x's, right? And I can even write it this way. I'm going to have 5 groups of x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And each of those groups has 5 in it, it comes out, turns into 1. Now, if I take the 17, the y's, if I take the 17 and divide that by 5, I don't get a nice number. In fact, I think I get like 3.4. So what I look at is this. I'm going to get 3 groups of 5, and then I'm going to have a little bit left over. Okay? Well, my 3 groups of 5, what's 3 times 5? That's 15, right? So 15 of those Y's, 15 of those 17 Y's are going to go away. And they're going to move out to the front and become those 3 groups. But this 0.4, that represents the leftover Y's on the inside. Well, if I took out 15 and I started with 17, well, that just means I've got 2 Y's left over on the inside, okay? And then the Z to the cube to the 3rd power. Well, 3 divided by 5, that's not even a whole number. That's just 0.6. So that means there's no groups of Z's that I can pull out. I just have to leave all of my Z's on the inside. So my answer becomes, I've got 5 groups that I pulled out, so x to the 5th. I had 3 groups of Y's, and then I've got my 5th root. Inside, I'm left with y squared and z to the 3rd power. So it's a little bit of a shortcut, but you've got to have some number sense, right? You've got to be able to keep track of what you're dividing. And not only that, you have to keep track of what does that mean, right? When I divide this 25 by 5, why am I doing that? What am I doing? Well, you're pulling those groups out from the inside. So you are welcome to do it the long way. You can do 25 x's and circle them. You can do 17 y's. Either way, you're going to get the same result. Okay. Number 4, 2 multiplied by the cube root of 40, a to the 4th, b to the 8th. Okay, so let's start with that 40. That's going to break down to be 2. Nope. Yeah, let's do 2 times 20, which is 2 times 10, which is 2 times 5. So 5, 2, 2, 2. So when I rewrite this, I've got 2 on the outside, and then I've got a cube root, and on the inside, I have a 2 and a 2 and a 2 and a 5. And then again, if you want to rewrite the A's and the B's, you can do A, and then there's 8 B's, B, 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 B. So I am looking for groups of 3, right? Because my index right here is 3. So I'm looking for groups of 3 that I can pull out. There's one group. There's another group. There's a group. There's a group. And then I've got a whole bunch of things left over. So let's start with the 2 that was already on the outside. Okay. So this 2 is right here. But then I pulled out a group of 2's and turned those into just 1, 2. And then I pulled out one group of A's. And then I pulled out 2 groups of B's. And I'm left over with the cube root and what's on the inside. I better not circle it because then I'm going to mix it up, right? Let's highlight it. I've got a 5 left over, I've got an A left over, and I've got 2 B's. So, whoa, 5, A, B, B. So let's rewrite this. 2 times 2, that's just 4. Good math. A, B, B is B squared. Cube root 5A, B squared. Which might look messier than what we started with. It does look messier, but now we can actually do math with it. It looks a little bit messier, but because it's simplified, it's going to be easier to do the math that we need to do with what you've got there. So go ahead and give the homework a try. I think that you guys will probably get through these problems pretty smoothly. I don't think you're going to struggle too much with any of these because it's all stuff that you've seen before. Keep an eye on those negatives. That negative out in front, that's just a negative, like number 7. You have a negative 4 in front. Well, so what? You just have a negative 4 in front. So when you multiply the stuff coming out, just remember you're multiplying it by a negative number.